probably read, I worked in Ohio when I was young on a job, and it was really my first successful job. It was a job very young, and it was Swifton Village, Cincinnati, Ohio, the Queen City, great place. And my father and I bought it, and I moved out here, and I stayed out here for the summers, and it was a really amazing experience. We bought it. It was a failed job. It had 1,194 apartments, and we bought it for almost nothing, and we sold it for a lot of money. It was a great experience. I mean, it was a great experience. That's like sinking the first putt. You know, you feel good about yourself. And my father said, boy, you did a great job. I said, Dad, I'm going to do a good job always. Don't worry about it. I always loved it. I always loved Ohio, and I loved that experience. It was such a positive experience and so great. I want to congratulate, first of all, you have a great coach. How about Urban Meyer? How about Urban Meyer? And a great football team, and you're going to have a great season, so you're going to have a good time. And he's somebody that said such nice things about me. And I don't know if he endorsed me or not, but he said awfully nice things about me. And I'm going to have to meet him, I think, right? I have to. But he's an amazing guy. I mean, when you think you come from one school and you have such success, and then you come to Ohio State and you have some success, you just don't see that. That's called talent. That's what we need in our country. We need talent. So this all began on June 16th, standing in New York City at Trump Tower, and standing with my wife, who did a beautiful job last night on Anderson Cooper, I have to tell you. She did a great job. And standing there, oh, we're going to build a wall, don't worry about it. That wall is getting taller with every interview, these ex-Mexican presidents getting taller, taller. It's getting up there, I'll tell you what. Did you ever see such anger? The ex-Mexican president, oh, I like my play better than that, right? Did you ever see such anger? You know, it's very interesting. I have to, let's get to this for 1 second, because the anger of Vicente Fox, the ex-president of Mexico, was unbelievable. And to think that, and he used a horrible word. Can you imagine if I would have used that word? Front page headlines. Nobody even talks about the word he used. I keep saying, what about his foul language? What about, they don't write it. Boy, would they write it if I said that word. I won't repeat the word because they'll make a big deal out of it. But he used horrible language. But more importantly, he was so angry. And the reason he was angry wasn't the wall that you bring up. The reason he was angry is that nobody ever speaks to these countries with authority. We're like the whipping post where everyone takes. And essentially he said, how dare you speak to Mexico like this? Now, just so you understand, I love the Hispanic people. I just won in Nevada, as you know. We won all of them. But I just won in Nevada. And they did a poll of the Hispanics, and I won by a lot over second place, by a lot. We're going to win the Hispanic vote. We're going to do great, because I'm going to bring jobs back from China. I'm going to bring jobs back from Japan. We're bringing our jobs back, folks. We're bringing our jobs back. But the anger of ex-President Fox, it's almost like, how dare you? They've got to get used to it. They've got to get used to it, folks, because we're going to reverse the tables. And you know what? The interesting thing, we will have a better relationship with Mexico than we have now. We don't have a good relationship. Remember Sergeant Tamburisi, who was in, and he was in jail. We couldn't get him out. I helped him along after he got out. I helped him a lot, actually. But we couldn't get him out. All right, now let's start. Don't we love it? It's always nice. We couldn't get him out of jail, and we had a president that I don't think he made one phone call. I don't think he made a phone call, and he was in there for a long, long period of time. So we're going to get the respect of other nations. We lose, as an example, with Mexico, $58 billion a year on trade. So we have a trade deficit. We have a trade deficit of $58 billion. And when they say the wall, these politicians come up to me and they say, Donald, you don't really mean Mexico's going to pay for the wall. I said, you don't understand. 100%. They go, no way you're going to get them to pay. They used to say, no way you're going to build the wall. Now, the other day, I hear this Rubio, I call him Little Marco. Hello, Marco. He said I had small hands. Actually, I'm 6'3", not 6'2", but he said I had small hands. They're not small, are they? I never heard that one before. I've always had people say, Donald, you have the most beautiful hands. Right? I never heard that. But that's politicians, they do this stuff. And he wanted to be Don Rickles, and it hasn't worked because he's gone down. He's gone down. But I see this guy, and he's doing the thing, we will build a wall. I said, where did this come from all of a sudden? And the same thing with Ted Cruz. I call him Lion Ted. We will build a wall, he says. Lion Ted, we will build a wall. Anything you do, you take a position, and then you see him on television when he's not around you, and he says exactly the opposite of what your position is. The only advantage I have is that we have a big speaker out there. We have a lot of people, so we can call people when they lie. But these politicians are bad. I mean, they lie, and we're going to get it straightened out, folks. We don't have to lie. We don't have to lie. So it all began on June 16th, the famous escalator ride. And I said to my wife, we got to do it. Oh, good. They're friends. Thank you. I was hoping it was a protester so the cameras would show what a big crowd we had. Oh, so many false stories. So many. The only way they show our crowds is when there's a protester. And sometimes I'm going to have to start doing this. Would anybody like to play protester today? I'd like to put them right in the corner of that room, right in the corner. For a long time I said, oh, the cameras are very modern, they don't move. Because my wife would always say, you never show the crowd. And then one day we had a protester, and those cameras, they bend like a pretzel. Believe me, they move. Because it's negative. Because I'll tell you what, the media is the most dishonest. These are worse than politicians. They are the most dishonest people that you'll deal with. They know what's going on. A story was written last night from a failed paper in Iowa. Can you believe it? And a failed paper in Iowa. And it was a story about me having people evicted from one of my rallies. And I was in the airplane. I had nothing to do with it. I show up. I didn't even know anything happened. And they wrote this vicious story, and it gets picked up by everybody. And this is a paper that's an enemy of ours with a writer who is horrible. And they pick it up all over the place. And they said Donald Trump ordered them out. I was in my plane. I was traveling. I didn't even know these people. They are such liars. They are disgusting people, I'm telling you. Most of them. You have about 20% of them that are good. 10%, by the way, I have to say 10% are actually great. 20% are good, but for the most part, the worst. So here's some good news. This just came out. I have to tell you before we get to the escalator. CNN, Trump, 49. Lightweight Senator Marco Rubio, 16. Lion Ted Cruz, 15. Good guy, he is a good guy. Ben Carson, 10%. And did you ever hear of a guy named Kasich? I won't. We'll save that for after tonight, right? We'll be back. We'll be saving it for after tonight. Because I'll tell you what, we really want to win Ohio. We're going to win Ohio. And we're up. The beauty is we're up quite a bit against him. He's your sitting governor. And I always say, and I say it respectfully, and I like him, but it helps when your state happens to hit oil. Do you agree? Doesn't that help? It does help. You hit oil. Fracking is a great thing. What's happened with fracking, what's happened with energy, and what's going on with energy is a great thing. Now in Florida, I think I'm like 21 points up on a senator that never shows up. He hasn't shown up to vote. He's got the worst voting record in the United States Senate. And I'll tell you honestly, he's defrauded the state of Florida because he got elected and he doesn't vote. He doesn't do anything. He's passed nothing. Ted has passed nothing. Ted will filibuster, but you got to do more than filibuster. You got to get people to do something. You got to get bills passed. You got to get other people to go in and pass good legislation that's going to be positive, not just stand up there, talk. 99 guys are watching him, and they're saying, when is this guy going to get the hell so we can get back? You got to get people somehow to work together. Our country is so unbelievably divided. It's divided.